All right, everyone, welcome back for another episode of Carnivore Trades. Today's Thursday, September 23rd, 2021. Markets staging a broad-based rally here. S&P up 1.5%, Dow up 1.7, NASDAQ 1% there, and Russell having a really nice day, up 2%, really leading off of the back of the higher yield here. And it's really a broad-based rally. XLF ripping higher, XLE, transports, all posting good gains today. So we have to respect this rally. The one thing I want to point out here, though, we made the first lower low since last year on the chart. We broke this trend and we did technical damage to the chart. I don't think this market is out of the woods yet. Now, I'm saying this as I respect the uptrend and respecting price action, but let's just take a look here. So a few examples of times where we made a lower low and that ended up being the top, but we still had a rip your face off rally. So I just want to show you a few examples here of different charts that made lower lows for the first time in a long time, and it ended up being the top despite having a rip your face off rally like we're having here. So they are buying this dip, but the difference between this dip and all these other ones is it is below trend. So if we take a look back at Bitcoin, so Bitcoin, and again, this is something I tweeted out. This is something I did videos on. I said as soon as we broke that pivot right here at 50,000, I said Bitcoin's vulnerable to a correction. But that didn't change the fact that we had this power bar here and we went straight up. But I mean, if you look at this right here, just this part of it, you'd say, oh, it's going right back to all-time highs. Buy the dip. Buy the dip never fails. And then look what happened. Rolled right over. So you see the difference here is once you make that first lower low, everything changes. So now what you look for is the lower high, and that's what we got there. Rolled over. Similar thing here on oil. Again, I pointed this out on Twitter, tweeted this out. As soon as we took out this pivot, we just, all we had to do is just breach it. Oil went into corrective mode, lower high. It was a shallower correction, but it's still a correction nonetheless. And you see the same thing really here on lumber. If we just flip over, so this is another one. Now this one didn't even make the, it tried to make a rally here, but still had a higher low. And I said, as soon as you take out this pivot, it's probably cooked. And it didn't even have a rally after that. Now lumber's a bit thinner of a market, and it was way, way overdone. So it just flushed out dramatically, but still the same kind of concept there. As soon as that lower low is made, the chart has technical damage to it, and it's no longer trustworthy until you get back to that all-time high and take that out. I mean, if we get, we'll probably get above that 20 moving average, maybe tomorrow even, and we're gonna have some resistance at this trend line. But if this starts stalling out, just look out, because it could be vulnerable for another leg down. So just bear that in mind. Again, we have to respect price action, and it is, the trend is up right now, but also check out the volume. Very, very light volume today on this really power bar here. So that could be telling you a little bit of something, that institutions are on the sidelines today and they're just kind of letting the market float higher, maybe if, to set up a fade here. And if you go on Twitter, I don't know if your guys' feed, but my feed is uber bullish. Everybody, all the bulls are basically laughing and mocking bears, and say, oh, buy the dip and this. So sentiments change really fast, and I'm getting a feeling that the consensus is we're just going right back to all-time highs. So just bear that in mind. Again, I'm going to remain a little neutral here for the time being until when the market tells us a little bit more. And I've been pretty cautious over the last month or so, and I'm going to remain that way until we get a better picture of what's going on here. Also, just one little thing to point out before we wrap up. Notice the dollar here. So dollar getting hit pretty hard today, just backing off of resistance. Again, we could extend this trend line. Maybe it has downside to here. But again, another higher low will tell you that it wants to move higher. But notice how the dollar is down and gold is down at the same time. So that's a little bit of a breakdown here. Now, one day does not mean anything, but and it's more so the fact that gold's down 1.5%, and the dollar is down 0.5%, which is a big move for the dollar. If it was just, flattish to negative, both of them are flat to negative, for instance, it wouldn't really catch my eye. But the fact that they're both down significantly is something to monitor. So there could be something going on here underneath the surface. But anyways, guys, I'm just going to wrap it up here. You guys take care. Have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you tomorrow.